I ran outside as they approached him.
Green.
He looked at me for help, but I ran back inside and called the police. It took them 10 minutes to get there.
You a little
When I looked back outside, what I saw was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
This video. Now I consistent. Like I don't know.
What's up, guys? How's everything going? Y'all good? Everyone good? Man. Check. I barely got any water. Before this video gets started, I want to address the elephant in the room, alright? Now, I know for the last few days, maybe for the last week, I've been a little bit inconsistent. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything with y'all. I've been a little bit inconsistent. Like, I've been uploading maybe once every other day, maybe I do a double upload and then don't upload for like 2 or 3 days. And I'm just trying to put the words together so I can explain it right to you guys. I don't know how to say I'm really sorry about that. Like, whenever a day goes by that I don't upload, I feel guilty about it. You know what I mean? Because in my eyes, I'm like, damn, a day just went by without me uploading. That's wild. Like, what did I do with my day? And I'm not the type to talk about my inner feelings and my inner problems, because honestly, you guys just want to come and see the scary games and you guys want to see the scary stories. And that's what I'm here for. I don't like mixing up emotions, and I don't like mixing up feelings with anything. Now, don't get me wrong, I will put my everything into the videos. I'll give it my everything. But lately, man, I'm not saying that this is gonna last forever, because it's not. You know what I mean? This feeling, I mean, I like doing videos. Like, I don't know what is it about it. Maybe it's the thrill whenever I see the publish button. I don't know. But anyways, reason why I've been like that, I really don't know, but I'm here to make you guys a promise. All right?
Stop the cap.
I want to make it up to you guys. So from here, you guys will see this video Monday. From Monday to next Monday, I promise you I will upload every single day. All right? That's on everything, bro. On everything. You have my word. And I'm going to do my best to keep that promise. So I'll see you guys next Monday. Let's get on with this video. Alright, so this is what's happening, boys. It's been a minute since we checked out Wansi Entertainment. And honestly, I think last time we checked those dudes out, or that guy, it was like a month ago. I haven't been checking them out lately, but I saw where I left off. I left off in July. Now, this is August 2020 compilation, 17 horror stories, man. So you already know we gotta get on that, man. We gotta get on that. So without further ado, roll the clip. Alright, this one's called The Girl. Let's see what this is about.
My name is Caitlin.
What's up?
This incident happened when I was 14 years old.
Oh,
and
man.
I will never forget this memory.
I barely have any water,
I was
bro.
at home alone at my house. My mom was still at the office late at
That's how much water I got left. It's gonna last. I hope it lasts me through the whole video.
night, and my 2 siblings were at my grandparents' house, which was kind of far away from my home. At first, I was just enjoying my time alone, watching Netflix and doing some fun stuff.
Alright.
However, after a while, I got pretty bored, so
What
I
happened?
decided to invite some of my friends over. I asked my mom
I don't think that's a good idea,
and then
bro.
called my friends to invite them over. A few moments later, while I was waiting for them, I heard a loud bang upstairs. I was sure that there was no one else upstairs. So I stood up and looked up the stairs with an anxious look on my face.
What happened?
When I was near the stairs, I could see that one of my dolls had
Oh!
fallen.
Bro, I thought that was legit. Oh my gosh, bro. I thought homeboy had got shot up. Look at him.
I picked it up.
I really
and when
thought
I straightened
Buddy
my
got
back,
banged up.
Something caught my attention. A little girl was standing upstairs. Well, I could feel that she was staring at me, even though I couldn't see her face clearly due to the darkness. I was terrified, and then someone rang the doorbell. I ran to see who it was, and luckily, my friends had arrived.
Okay.
Thank God. It was a moment
She was
of
about to
relief
die.
that my friends came over at the right time. Soon, I got my mind off of the girl I saw. We sat down in the living room and had fun talking with each other. An hour later, one of my friends suggested that we should take some pictures together. So we gathered around one another. We took several selfies while laughing and chatting.
Look how they posing, bro.
Later, as we scrolled through the pictures, we found something.
What happened?
There was a little girl
Oh my.
standing behind
Are
our
you
couch.
for real?
What made us even more terrified
Yo.
was the fact that she had no face. I mean, her face was just an empty darkness. No eyes, no
Jeez.
nose, and no mouth. Being terrified,
Get out of there.
I told Cassie to delete that picture right away. However, she
If
said
I was
that
one of her
something
friends, I
was
would've
wrong
dipped.
with her cell
Nope.
phone. I snatched the phone out of her hands and tried to delete it.
It wouldn't
But
delete.
no matter what we tried, we couldn't delete the
Are
picture.
you for real?
Then we heard loud thumps. It sounded like someone's footsteps were coming from upstairs, and our light was flickering on and off at the same time. We thought that we couldn't stay inside anymore, so we rushed outside in a hurry.
Hell
One
nah.
of my friends, Christina, suddenly pointed at my bedroom window
What
and
happened?
said that there was someone in there. I
No.
raised my eyes up and followed her finger, and there she was. It was the same faceless girl we had seen in the picture. My friends and I screamed. I called my mom and explained everything. My mom couldn't believe what I told her, so she made me calm down and said that she would be home in 5 minutes.
Don't go
After
back
she
in.
arrived home,
Don't
she
go back
searched
in.
the entire house, but she couldn't find any trace of the girl. I hoped that it was just our imaginations. However, we soon decided to move out of the house because I kept seeing the girl after that incident. We finally moved, and from then on, my mom never wanted me to be home alone, so I always stayed with my siblings. I still have no clue why the girl haunted me, but I think it was because she wanted us to get out of the house.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm just glad that I don't see that girl in my new house.
3 short, scary. Oh my god. One nightmare.
This
Wansi,
happened
relax,
to me
alright? I can't
while
read that
I was
fast.
on my way home one night. I was living in an apartment at the time. When I arrived on the first floor of my building, there was a piece of paper hanging on the wall that said that the elevator was out of service. No, not again, I said to
happened?
myself. I lived on a pretty high floor, so without any other choice, I had
Them
to walk
stairs,
up the
bro.
stairs.
You gotta
I
get
was
them
walking up the
stairs.
stairs out of sheer desperation, and
That's
all
one of
a
the biggest
sudden,
challenges
I
for
heard
some people.
Something. Then I began to feel uneasy. I knew that crimes often occurred around my neighborhood, especially targeting people who were alone. When I listened closely, I could hear a pair of men's shoes and a pair of women's high heels walking at the same time. I assumed that it was a couple. You guys are having a hard time like me. I'm struggling to walk up the stairs, especially this late at night. I thought to myself.
No one told you to be out that
I
late.
sighed with relief and turned my head around. However, I will never forget what I saw at that moment. There was a man who was crawling with a
Oh.
pair of men's shoes
Oh
on
my-
his feet
Wait,
and
what?
a pair of high heels on his hands.
Freaking
He
weirdo.
was crawling
Kick him.
towards me.
That's it?
This happened a few years ago in the neighborhood I grew up in. When I was around 6 years old, there was an incident where an old man who lived right in front of my house was murdered by a robber. Not
Damn.
only did the robber steal all his money, but he also stabbed him brutally with a knife and then ran away.
Oh, shoot.
According to the police, the crime scene was as horrible as it sounds, and unfortunately, to this day, the robber still hasn't
Are
been
you for
caught.
real?
When they moved the old man's dead body and passed by my house, my mom covered my eyes with her hands so that I wouldn't see it. Nevertheless, I could see my neighbor's face through the gap between my mom's fingers.
I want to see it
After
too.
that, even after a few months had passed, the old man's house wasn't sold. It was because there were a few strange rumors spreading around the neighborhood about his house.
He's haunting
Some
the place?
said that people would always hear the old man's coughing and
Oh,
sobbing coming
nah.
from inside whenever
Nah,
it rained.
fam.
10 years later, all of the people who moved into his house had to leave, and now his house is being used as a warehouse.
Do people really have problems with houses like that? Like they can't sell
When
it for
I was
years?
in high school, I was crazy about a boy band and used to stay up late at night watching their videos. Because of this, I used to fall asleep at around 3 or 4 a.m.
Sure, wild,
The
bro.
town I lived in was sort of a new city under construction, so it was really quiet and there was no one outside during that time. One night, it was around 3 a.m., I suddenly heard a woman singing outside. It was an old song, and the strange thing was that the woman was singing just one part of the song over and over again. She didn't move on to the next section. She would just start singing, pause for a minute, and then continue
You're freaking
singing
crazy, bro.
again.
What are you seeing?
Out of curiosity, I opened the window and was
Out of
about to sing the next
curiosity?
verse of the song to surprise her.
Close that window.
However, before that, I sent a text message to my friend. Hey, someone is singing outside and keeps repeating the same part. LOL, should I sing along with her? Not long after, my friend responded,
Freaking
and then
creep, bro.
I had to shut the window quietly because I was terrified.
What'd she say?
The text said, "Don't do that. That's a ghost. When ghosts find someone to harm, they first sing and then wait."
Wait, what? Why did it cut off? I promise
This
her that wasn't
happened
me.
Not long after we moved into our house in 2003. It was a nice and big house, which was made in the 1950s. One day I was in my backyard watering the grass, and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw something that made me pause.
What happened?
There was a man standing next to the shrubs near our backyard's wall. He was dressed like a carpenter.
That's a zombie.
His head looked
That's
like
a
it was
zombie.
tilted sideways, and his body was slightly facing our fences sideways.
Get out of there.
Then he saw me and smiled kindly at me.
Wait, what?
At first, I thought he was fixing someone's house, and that it was his job. However, only after he faced me, I realized
Ugh.
that wasn't the case.
Look at
When
his
I looked
neck,
at him
bro.
With narrowed eyes, I noticed that his neck was visibly broken,
Ew.
causing his head to awkwardly tilt to the side. I then saw that he waved at me once, but I was too shocked to scream at the time.
Just go home. Just go
After
home.
I
Go home, baby
regained
girl. Just go home.
consciousness, I looked around, but he had vanished and had literally faded away. 2 nights later, I woke up at 3 a.m. Noise was coming from my
Yo,
ceiling.
he broke in.
It
He
sounded
broke in.
like someone wearing construction boots was walking very slowly. I started to freak out, thinking that it might be a thief. However, I suddenly realized that that part of the roof was so thin, which meant nobody could walk on it. The steps abruptly stopped after a while, and when I felt at ease, I heard another horrible sound.
That's the dude.
I heard a
That's the
sharp
same
scream
dude.
that sounded like a man. Then a loud thud, as if someone had dropped on my ceiling, followed after. I covered
What?
my head with a blanket. My hands and whole body shivered.
Why was he screaming for
And
that
after
long? I
10
don't think the
minutes
roof
of
is that big.
nothing, I peeked outside. It was completely quiet. I saw and heard nothing, but I couldn't fall back asleep that night. The next morning, I started to look up the history of the house. To my surprise, it turned out that there was a report about the carpenter I met a few days before in the backyard.
So that was him?
In 1958, he had been hired to fix the roof while the owners were on vacation. However, the carpenter had fallen abruptly through the weak spot on the roof while he was working and had broken his neck. He couldn't scream for help.
Alright.
And no one
Hold
ever
on.
knew what happened.
Pause. How come when that happens, alright, in this situation, right, it's happening to a ghost. What do the owners and that person have to do with what happened to the ghost? Now hear me out. I know it's kind of messed up, but that's not... Why would you haunt us if we don't even know what happened? She had to go out of her way to find out what happened. Like, how, and even so, how can she even help you? You know what I mean? How can she help you? How can she help you be at peace? It just makes no sense to me.
To him as the owners were gone for 2 weeks.
You see, like,
He
how
was
is that
finally
their
found
fault?
when they came back, but had already died. This
It's a
happened
tragic
right
death,
above
and I'm
my
sorry.
bedroom. Suddenly, I felt bad for the poor guy, and I guess he's still looking after things. Since then, I've seen him sometimes, but I'm no longer afraid of him.
Oh, okay. Alright, bet. Alright, so here's the thing. Alright, I understand now. I understand. He was never trying to harm her. That's it. But some ghosts not. But y'all know what I mean. Some ghosts do be trying to harm y'all for no reason.
This story is
I
about
didn't
when I
even see the
first
title.
moved to the city and joined the company. Our company was running a dormitory at the time, and I was the one from the countryside, so I decided to stay in the dormitory. One day after work, I came back to the dormitory and was eating my dinner with the TV on. It was almost midnight after working overtime.
Shoot, I'm almost
I was
out.
laughing and watching some comedy shows, and then I felt a sudden strangeness.
What happened,
You
bro?
know, like it feels like someone is staring at you.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling
Yeah.
weird, I
I
turned
know
my
what
head
you mean
toward
by
the
that.
window, and I couldn't move as
What'd
my
you
whole
see?
body stiffened with a tremendous chill.
What'd you see?
I couldn't even scream. The woman's face was stuck in the window
Oh,
as I turned casually to look, and she was staring at me
Hell no.
without
Is this a
any
dream?
movement. Now, let's think about it. The windows in the dorm were not even small. It was just the size of a normal person's upper body. But look, a face big enough to fill that
she
size
break
of a
in?
window? Can you imagine what it was? And what was scarier was, I was on the 5th floor at the time. How could she even stand over there, staring at me? I was frozen. I couldn't run away. I could only just
boy is
watch her
shocked.
glaring eyes. It was lucky that I could move as the ghost disappeared the moment someone knocked on my door.
Oh.
One of my
Boy,
coworkers
you
in the
lucky.
next room came to my room saying that he had something urgent to do. And when
What?
he looked at my pale face, he asked me if I was okay. So I explained to him what I had just saw.
Ain't no one gonna
And then
believe you,
his
bro.
face looked a little stiff.
Because I don't believe you.
Well, he didn't say anything anymore, but I knew it. I was sure. I'm not the only one who saw her here. Anyway, something strange has happened to me since then. Sometimes when people get together and talk about ghost stories, I suddenly start to feel nauseous. Like ghosts are coming to see me. For example, one day I was with my friends in a restaurant, and as soon as they started talking about ghosts, my skin turned pale.
You see, like
and I
this,
started
for
sweating
example.
all over my body.
He did absolutely nothing
At
wrong.
first, they
He was
thought
just
I
a
was
student.
lying or trying to prank them. But when I looked at the door with a serious
If
look on
this
my
is real,
face
you know what I mean?
and told
But-
my friends not to keep
Y'all
telling
know,
those
y'all know,
stories,
y'all know.
they all had to shut up. I think something's wrong with me. So anyone who's watching this story, I hope you guys always check out the window especially when you're
You're
alone
probably a
in your
ghost
house.
whisperer.
Always.
3 short, scary stories. My granny's voice.
I
Ooh.
used to live with my grandmother,
what I'm talking
who died
about.
a few years ago. My grandmother had suffered a cerebral infarction during her lifetime, so
Damn.
she couldn't use her arms or legs at all,
I'm
and
sorry,
she couldn't
Granny.
even speak. She could only mumble and grunt. Because I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, I felt sorry for her whenever I saw her. One day, my family gathered together at my house to celebrate a big holiday. While we were eating delicious food and chatting with each other, my grandmother was sitting alone in her room. A few hours had passed, and it was time for everyone to go home. So my relatives said
Y'all
their
left Granny
goodbyes.
alone?
However, my grandmother was still in her room at that time. So I stayed with her. I sat next to her, just in case. Grandma, do you want to go outside and say goodbye to everyone?
Hell no.
I asked, looking at her face. Then Grandma slowly turned her head towards me and opened her mouth. I'm embarrassed. At that instant, I couldn't believe that she spoke
I thought you
with
said
such
she couldn't
clear
speak.
and accurate pronunciation. A few years later, after my grandma had died, I told my family what happened that day when
Now
I was
you
at
decided
the
to tell
funeral
them?
hall, but no one believed me.
The last
Today,
hint she
I'm
left.
going to talk about a story that I read somewhere. A few years ago, a body was found in the countryside. It was especially difficult to identify the victim or the perpetrator of that incident because the body had been dead for quite a long time.
Damn.
And to make matters worse, the bones had changed and were bleached.
What it?
However,
Oh.
the police found one strange thing in this
Damn,
difficult
bro.
situation. Only one
That's
finger from
tough.
its body remained completely intact.
That is
They
tough.
asked the National Forensic Service, and they finally completed
That's
the
one tough
identification
job.
on
Oh,
the
they did
body's
it.
finger. Furthermore, they succeeded to arrest the criminal.
Let's
As a
go.
result of the investigation, it turned out that the assailant was her roommate. They
It's always
said
a
that he
jealous
beat her to
ex-boyfriend,
death
bro.
On a rainy day,
Oh!
and buried her in the mountain behind their house. After that, the detective who was in charge said in his interview, "When you're in charge of a case, there are often things that occur that can't be explained. However, I can tell you that ghosts really exist." I'll admit
I'm
that
shook.
what I'm about to tell
I'm
you
shook
is
right now.
not that creepy. My grandmother passed away not too long ago.
Wasn't this the
After
same
staying
story
3
from the
days
grandma?
in the funeral home, we were supposed to go to the cemetery following her cremation. They said it would take about an hour, so my mom told me to take a nap in the car until the cremation was done. Since I was the
Oh,
one
shoot,
who
I
had to
almost hit
drive
my eye.
later, I went back to my car alone and fell asleep. However, not long after, someone started shaking me.
Grandma?
I heard my name, so I slowly opened my eyes, and my grandmother was sitting next to me.
Grandma!
"Grandma?" I asked, rubbing my eyes, and she smiled at me. "Yes, it's me. Your grandpa is calling me. I'll go first, so stop sleeping and get up." I really missed her. Crying in my
How is this
dream,
scary?
I suddenly woke up with a surge of longing for her. I kept crying and then came out of the car. At that moment, I saw my family walking towards me, carrying a box of grandmother's ashes and her picture. I immediately told my mom about my dream, and then she patted me on the back and said this: "I guess Grandma wanted to say goodbye before she left.
I guess
Maybe
so.
you were the only one who was sleeping, so she wanted to say goodbye to you."
That's sad. It's not scary, but it's sad. R.I.P. to Grandma.
One evening, I was looking for an internet cafe because I needed to send a few emails. I spotted one in an old building. The sign said it was on the 6th floor.
Okay.
When I walked through the entrance, there was a dark hallway that led to a small elevator. I pressed the call button, and when the doors opened,
Oh, I
stepped
don't like
inside.
elevators, man. If you ever
In
seen
a
the
lot of
movie
Asian
Elevator,
countries, many buildings do not have a
scary
fourth floor.
movie, bro.
The
Scary
number
movie.
4 is considered bad luck because the word 4 sounds almost the same as the word for death. When it stopped
What?
and the doors opened, I was about to step out when I realized that something was wrong. The hallway was in total darkness. By the light emanting from the elevator, I could make
What is he
out
doing
a
there
random
again?
piece of furniture covered with white cloth. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years. I thought I might have gotten off on the wrong floor, so I checked the buttons, but none
Nope.
of them were lit up.
That's the right
There
floor,
was
my
nothing
boy.
to indicate which floor I was on.
That's the right floor.
Just then, I noticed something moving at the
Oh,
end of the dark
shoot.
hallway.
No.
I couldn't
Go
quite
back, go
make
back,
out
go
what
back,
it
go
was,
back, go back.
but it looked like a person dressed in some type of gown.
That's the girl from The
It
Ring.
was moving slowly down the hallway towards the elevator. It creeped me out.
This
and in a
man.
panic, I started pressing the closed door button. All of a sudden,
That
the
thing
light
would
in
not
the
go.
elevator
Yo.
I was plunged into the pitch darkness. I was so freaked out I almost wet myself. Just as I was about to lose it completely, the lights flickered back on. The doors closed. The elevator jolted back to life and began to ascend again. I breathed a sigh of relief. When the doors opened this time, I was at the internet cafe. I
One
went over
see.
to the counter and told the
I
girl
see
who
you,
worked
bro.
there and what had happened. As she listened, her face grew pale. She said
happened?
that some of the customers and a few of her coworkers had experienced the same thing. She had never
You
experienced
gotta,
anything
you
herself,
gotta
but she told me
destroy
about the history of
that
the
fourth
building.
floor.
Apparently, the 4th floor had been a hair salon at one time. It was prospering and doing pretty good until one of the women who worked there killed herself in the salon. Nobody knew the reason why.
Bro,
The salon continued to operate, but they were plagued by weird and inexplainable events.
so a business has to
Sometimes
go
the
down
customers were having
because
their hair
someone
washed.
randomly
The
decides
water
to
would
die in
turn
there,
as
bro.
red as blood. Other people claimed that when
Look
they
at
looked
that.
in the mirror, they would catch glimpses of a ghostly figure standing behind them.
See, like,
When they turned around, there
what
would be no
benefit
one
does
there.
the ghost get from haunting
Because
the
of these
fourth
events,
floor,
the
bro?
salon developed a bad reputation and began to lose
If anything,
customers.
yeah,
Eventually,
look at what
They
they
were
have
forced
to
to
do,
close
bro.
the building's
ghosts
owner
can be
tried to rent the
selfish.
4th floor out to other businesses, but when they found out what had happened, nobody would take it.
Mm.
Finally, the owner reduced the price to nearly nothing, and it was rented by a businessman who planned to open a stationery supply store. However, when they tried to do some renovations on the floor, there was a series of mysterious accidents.
Like
The
what?
workmen's tools would sometimes disappear, only to be found in strange places. A large mirror suddenly shattered when nobody was near it, and the
Are you
workman
for
had
real?
his hand crushed when the elevator closed unexpectedly.
This man's trying to leave her friend.
Eventually,
Oh!
the workmen were so spooked that they refused to continue. The building's owner gave up trying to rent the 4th floor out and just shut it down. He had the buttons in the elevator replaced, and it was reprogrammed that nobody could go on the 4th floor. At least that's what's supposed to happen. For some reason, when people took the elevator, it would sometimes stop on the 4th floor. And when the doors
Jeez,
opened,
that's so
some
messed
people would
up. That's
see a
even
figure
worse,
coming
bro.
towards them in the darkness. I honestly still don't know what that was.
Nah, fam. The old lady I met in my dream. We've been having a lot
When
of
I
grandma
was a little
stories.
girl, I had the same dream several times. In these dreams, I used to see an old lady who kept running after me. She was wearing Korean traditional clothes called a hanbok and put her
Oh,
white hair up.
what?
Whenever it happened, she was kind of far away from me, so I tried to run away from her at full speed. But then, when I turned my head around, in less than 3 seconds, she had already reached me and
That
was right
grandma
behind
fast.
me with an angry look on her face and
Ooh.
stretching out her hand. So I always woke up crying when I felt like I was going to get caught by her. That horrible situation repeated over and over again whenever I had a dream.
So you think
However,
it means
the
something?
interesting thing was that I never got caught by her in my dream. Because I was so young at the time, it was really scary to see that old lady in my dream. So I tried to not fall asleep. But eventually, I couldn't win and sleep took over my body. And the same thing
Why would you
happened
try not to
again.
sleep?
in one dream, I was playing at the playground with my older brother.
I want to see you face your
We
fears,
were playing with
little
some
girl.
dirt, and I
Don't
could
run
see
away.
the old lady watching
run
us
away.
as usual.
Don't
To
run
be more
away.
specific, she was staring at me. Run! Hurry! As soon as I told him that, she ran towards us. But this time, she looked even more angry than usual. I was in a hurry, so I yelled at my brother to go up on the slide, and we both ran towards it. I was going to go up the slide, but suddenly I stumbled
Oh,
and
she
fell
pulled
down.
you. She
And
pulled
she
you
was
down. Oh, I
approaching.
thought
I was
she pulled
about
her
to
down.
scream, but to my surprise, she just passed me.
She's going after your brother.
And then she angrily grabbed my brother's leg with one hand
Oh,
and pulled him
no.
downwards.
Oh no.
Being terrified, I cried and yelled at her to let go of him. And then I suddenly woke up. When I woke up, I realized that my whole body was drenched in cold sweat. A few days later, an unforgettable and unbelievable incident happened to me.
What happened to your brother?
My brother was in a car accident. Not to mention his teeth, cheekbones, ribs, right leg and shoulders were all smashed. It was just horrible.
Oh man.
But since the accident, I couldn't stop thinking of the old lady who I'd met in my dream. Well, it's been a long time now, but I still remember
brother
her face
alright?
so vividly. Since my brother's accident, the old lady was no longer in my dreams. However, to this day,
I'm
I'm
guessing she
still
was trying to
really
warn you.
curious. Why did the old lady appear in my dream, and what did she want to say to me?
To look out for your family, that's what. I've committed the unforgivable mistake. Ooh.
I'm someone who goes on the deep and dark web constantly.
Of course. No, of course.
not what
Yeah, I'm
people
not
think.
surprised.
Where it's evil and overpopulated with crazy people. That's only a small percentage of the dark web. Years
So why
ago,
do you go on there?
my girlfriend broke up with me, and I put her personal information on a forum. And soon after that, she disappeared. It's been a while since that happened.
You're
I've ran into
green
people
for that.
have disrespected me since. I'm not an intimidating guy, nor do I look intimidating,
You really.
nor do I ever
you're
have
petty.
physical or verbal conflicts. I always think to myself that these people don't know what could happen to them. I work at a fast food restaurant,
Of
and at
course.
the time of this story, my manager was really on my case about everything. I would be late, mess up orders, have an attitude with customers, and some other stuff.
So why
I
are you
can name,
working
but
there,
it's so
bro?
much. I understood
Give
that I
me
was
a
messing
hot.
up, but the tone that this guy would talk to me
Hey,
embarrassed
bro,
me in front of my
don't
coworkers.
put your hand in my face like that, bro.
Sometimes in front of customers.
So don't
One
mess
day,
up,
though,
bro. Don't
that
mess
was the
up if
last
you don't
straw.
want to get talked to
So
like that.
one day
Come
I
on
walked
now.
into work 5 minutes before I was due to clock in, and my manager out loud said that the window liquor is finally on time in front of customers
The window
and my
liquor.
coworkers. Everyone laughed at me. During my whole shift that night, he would direct smart comments toward me while still yelling at me for everything that I did
So
wrong.
say something back, bro.
I made up
Don't
my
be
mind.
rude, but say slick
I was
comments
going
back.
to find that forum and give his information. On my walk home, I was going back and forth with myself about whether to do it or not. By the time I
I
made
mean,
it
you already
home,
did it to your
I
girlfriend.
made up my mind. I didn't shower nor did I change clothes.
No, you
I went
nasty.
straight to my laptop and I searched. I possibly clicked maybe 100 links because on the dark web there are links that will take you down any rabbit hole. A link named Pork Chop piqued my interest. When I clicked it, I was directed to an About page. It only said 6 words. We find it, we chop it. And another link that said, here's an example of what we do.
Jeez, bro.
I clicked it, of course. As soon as I clicked on it, the picture went to the point of view from an old school camera, with the date and time in the corner of the screen. The person behind the camera approached the man and followed him. A few minutes go by, and the man noticed what was happening. He turned around and approached the camera while yelling and screaming at the person for following him.
I wouldn't do that,
Then all
bro.
of a sudden, you see 5 huge guys dressed in black wearing a pig mask running
Nope.
from behind the man
Nope.
and drag him into the dark. The person holding the camera turns the camera to his or her face and leaves it there for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Bro.
That person also wore a pig mask, but all you could hear was the man screaming and sounds that I don't want to describe in the background. The camera was then turned back around and the sight that I
These
saw
dudes
was
posing.
disturbing. It was something that no one would ever want to see. Some people say that they wouldn't wish it on their worst enemy, but I did. After the video was over,
Like I said, bro, you already did it
one
to your
said
girlfriend,
pork,
bro.
and the other said chop. I clicked on the pork and it prompted me to put in a code. I didn't have one, so I backed out. So I clicked on chop. There was information that needed to be filled out, like name, height, description, and place. I filled out all the info for my manager. And the place, it was my job. I submitted the form. At the end of the screen, it said, "See you soon." 4 days later, while at work, my manager approached me and decided to apologize for the way
Look
he
at that.
treated me.
Look at
And
that.
offered to give me more hours and said that he will work with me more often because he sees potential in me.
Damn,
hours
you
later,
is
it was
green,
close to
bro.
the end
You
of the
going to
night.
jail.
My manager helped me with the trash and took it out for me.
You done
As I
for.
was putting chairs on top
Nope.
of the table getting ready to
Nope.
mop. I looked outside and saw my manager looking over at something, but he looked worried.
Oh,
I moved to get a better look and I
shoot,
saw what
man.
he was looking at. He was surrounded by 6
Yo!
people in pig masks with weapons in their hands. I ran outside as they swarmed him, except for one person. He had a camera. I forgot all about these guys, and then I put his information on the website. I ran outside as they approached him.
Green.
He looked at me for help, but I ran back inside and called the police. It took them 10 minutes to get there.
You a little
When I looked back
hoe.
outside, what I saw was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I wish I can get the image out of my head. Between the time of me initially seeing them, calling the cops, and running back outside,
You a hoe.
these guys were gone. But my manager was still there. I went to his funeral
Oh,
the next day. I received an
my
anonymous
God.
email that had the whole video. They were watching him this whole time he was on shift. I don't know how they got my email. I never provided any of my information. Till this day, I still feel sick because my manager was starting to be nice to me that day. I
Even
can't go-
so, bro, you don't call a hit out on nobody just because they're doing their job. What's wrong with these kids, bro? I wish I grew up in the 90s, bro.
Back on the dark
Y'all
web.
so sensitive. Y'all a bunch of weirdos. That story really got me hot, bro.
This happened over 25 years ago,
Oh,
but the memories are
you
still
freaking
fresh
kidding
on my
me.
mind. I moved in with my boyfriend, who was a musician, and I wasn't working at the time. Our budget was small, so when we were offered super cheap rent for a house, we jumped at the opportunity. It should have been a red flag at the time, but we were in no position to
that
refuse.
says for sale.
It was far from the city
It's
center.
not even rented.
We had almost no furniture and lived quite the frugal life. But we were happy to have our own space. The house was simple but cozy
He looks
and
like a
nice.
simp.
And there was another room in the backyard with no windows, but only a chair right in the middle of it. Needless to say, it was super creepy, so I avoided that part of the house. While my boyfriend was working all day in a music school, I took care of the house. In the beginning, everything was fine. I felt happy there, but after a few weeks, weird things started happening.
Like what?
One day, I put some of the cans and ingredients on the kitchen table while I was cooking. However, when I turned around to grab them, they weren't there. At first, I just thought that I had forgotten to pick them up from the shelves.
Nah,
But
baby
when
girl.
cans and
Your
knives
husband-
started showing up
Oh,
in random
knives?
places in the house, like the bedroom,
Yo.
I started paying more attention. My boyfriend also experienced the same things, and whenever he found the missing items, he just laughed about it.
He
However,
freaked out
things
on the
started
inside.
to change and
Y'all
took
know
a
that,
turn for the
right?
worse when we decided to clean the backyard. We cut the grass, threw away the trash, and decided to move the chair in the middle of the room. So my boyfriend picked it up and left it in front of the house to be collected. He told me that he felt sick the moment he entered that room.
Ugh.
I thought he was overreacting, but when I entered it, I immediately felt a heavy weight on my chest and a piercing headache. However, everything would be fine again once we left that area.
Just
It was
move out.
scary, so we went to a local
Move out.
church, got some holy water and salt from the priest, and cleaned the room. We thought that everything would be okay now.
I mean, it
My
should,
boyfriend
right?
had to leave for work, and I continued cleaning inside the house. But I didn't feel calm and perky as I usually did, because I constantly had the feeling that someone was watching me. I even checked the doors and windows to see if there was anyone around, but no one was there. And I still felt uncomfortable and was paranoid all day. When my boyfriend returned home in the evening, we started hearing noises coming from outside. This area was kind of dangerous, especially at night, so my boyfriend was super careful when going outside. He thought that it could be a robbery. Everything was alright, except for the fact that the chair was back inside the room.
Yup.
It was in the same place as before.
And that's a sign you should
So he
move
got
out.
really mad when
now.
he saw it, thinking that some punk was playing a trick on us. He went outside and decided to grab the chair, break it, and throw it away. But I could see the panic on his face when he couldn't move the chair. For whatever reason, it was completely
boy.
fixed to the ground.
Oh man,
Not like
what
it
you
was
about to do
glued
now?
to the floor, but more like it weighed 10 tons. No matter how hard he tried, it wouldn't move.
I got a better idea. Burn
Because
it.
he had to come up with another plan, he ran inside, grabbed holy water and salt, made a circle around the chair, and started praying. Suddenly, we
At
heard
least
a loud
pray outside the
bang.
shed.
Thousands, maybe millions of cockroaches started coming out of every sewer hole
What the
outside of the house.
Wait, what?
I am terribly terrified of cockroaches.
Hey, as long as they're not
so
flying,
I guess
bro.
this was
If
my
they're not
worst
flying,
nightmare.
I'm straight. I'll
We
kill
left the
all of them no
chair,
matter
and
what.
we
But once they
rushed
start
inside the
flying, it's a
house.
wrap, bro.
And after
I'll
we
scream like
checked
a little hoe. I
everywhere
don't
in the
give a-
house, we locked all the doors and windows, and then ran away to my mom's house. As the incident happened on a Friday evening, we decided to stay at her house until Sunday to calm down. On Sunday
Move
afternoon,
out.
we returned home and everything felt normal. There were no traces of insects around, and the chair was still in its place, but the house seemed quiet. We started relaxing a bit, and as I had just refilled the fridge on Friday with groceries, I decided to start cooking something nice for dinner.
What you about
However,
to cook,
when
baby
I opened
girl?
the fridge, I saw an image I will never forget.
Somebody
All
said.
the food was full of maggots,
Ugh.
and it was almost completely decomposed. The smell was horrible inside. I have never seen anything like it before. I mean, the fridge was still on and seemed to be working,
Yo, that'd be
but
hard.
the food was not
I
frozen.
ain't gonna cap, bro. That'd
And
be
this
hard.
level of decomposition could not be reached in less than 48 hours. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I screamed and showed it to my
This man's just
boyfriend,
chilling.
who also couldn't understand what happened, but there was nothing we could do with the food or the fridge. Later, we finally decided to give the house back, and we moved out to another city. And fortunately, I've never experienced anything like that
At least
again.
you guys have your
But that
sanity.
incident still gives me the chills.
I'd be freaked out too, bro. Episode 1, my dad's shoes.
A few days ago, my dad lost his shoes at a restaurant.
How do you
When
lose
he
your
checked
shoes
the
at the
CCTV,
restaurant, bro? What
he
the
saw
heck?
that an old man went outside wearing his shoes.
That
At
boy
first,
dipped.
my dad decided to just think that he made a donation.
Oh,
But the
man.
next day, a package arrived at his company office. As he opened the box, he saw a new pair of the exact same shoes
They
that
always
he had
come
lost
back,
the day
man. What I
before.
be telling y'all?
And the
Always.
sender was unknown. Let's think about it. My dad lost his shoes just yesterday, but when he checked the delivery date, it was dated a few days ago. Dad was just satisfied with the new pair of shoes that he received,
Wait,
but my mom and I are still feeling uncomfortable and weird about it. I mean, who would send shoes to you
Hold
for
up.
free?
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Let's rewind that.
Saw a new pair of the exact same shoes that he had lost the
Okay,
day
a
before.
new pair. A new pair. I thought it was the
And
same
the
pair.
sender was unknown. Let's think about it. My dad lost his shoes just yesterday, but when he checked the delivery date, it was dated a few days ago.
Oh, that's creepy.
Dad was just
That's creepy
satisfied
right
with the
there,
new pair of
bro.
shoes that he
And the
received,
exact same
but my
shoes.
mom
Hey,
and
at
I are
least it's
still
not the
feeling
same
uncomfortable
old,
and weird about
musky
it.
shoes.
I mean,
At
who
least you
would
got
send
brand new
shoes
shoes,
to you
bro.
for free and for no purpose at all? What a weird situation.
The cell phone. I mean, I'm not.
This happened a
bro,
few days ago.
I won't complain if someone sends me a pair of Jordans when I had just lost my Jordans yesterday. You feel me? I ain't gonna complain. I'll take the dub. I'll take the dub. I don't care if it's haunted. So what?
I found
I'll
a
take the
cell
dub.
phone in the corner of my
I look
bed
fresh.
while cleaning my room. Of course, it was not mine, and it didn't belong to any of my friends either. So I turned on the cell phone to check what was in it, and I was left speechless. Well, I've never seen that cell phone while living in this house for several years.
What'd you see?
I found it just today. But when I checked the phone's recent call history, one was made just yesterday.
Oh.
If someone knows the answer to this, please let me know. What should I do with this cell phone now?
Move the hell out. The nightmare of terror.
It seems like growing a terrarium is in fashion now,
Terrarium.
but I threw out my terrarium a few days ago.
man. I can't read,
One
bro.
day, I bought a terrarium at a store while heading
What
home.
is that anyways?
I put it next to my bed and fell asleep. The next morning, I saw a girl lying
Oh,
next
oh
to me
my-
on my bed.
Jesus
And
Christ,
the scariest
bro, chill out.
part was that her neck was halfway turned. But as soon as I jumped up, screaming, she was already gone. At first, I thought it was just a nightmare or some kind of sleep paralysis.
Baby.
A few days later, I had a dream this time, and I was inside of the terrarium. I was on something like a big hill, and dolls made of bones were digging through the soil of the garden.
Ugh.
As soon as I stepped closer, I could see the bones on the ground. Then I woke up from my dream in fright. Because I felt uncomfortable thinking about the woman I saw a few days ago, I went into the bathroom with a terrarium. I started taking all the plants and moss out of the glass. You know, moss is usually very easy to peel off. However, this one didn't come off easily.
Just throw it away, girl.
It was as if the roots of the plant grew so deep that it felt like they were stuck to the soil. I was about to turn on the water and wash the roots, and at that moment, little white pieces rattled and were drained down
What
the
is
sink.
that?
What was that? Suddenly, I was struck with fear. I couldn't even think of washing it anymore. Eventually, I had to throw the plants outside. What were those white pieces I saw? What if they were real bone fragments?
Oh man, you may be right. The picture.
It happened when I was in middle school. One day, 2 of my classmates committed suicide together on the roof of an apartment complex.
Yo,
Everyone in the class
Damn.
wondered why they did that and
I
felt
remember
sorry for
something
them.
like that happened in my school
And
too.
a few days later,
In
we
my
received a group photo from our
middle
school
school.
trip. The moment we looked closely, we
That's
found
sad,
something unbelievable. Some of the students were screaming, and some were crying. It was insane. When I looked at it, it was really, really weird. The 2 friends who committed suicide together were standing next to each other, and their eyes were looking upwards the same exact
oh my
way.
god.
It was
Y'all think
strange
they
enough to
planned
make
it?
the viewer feel
They
unpleasant.
must have planned it, right?
Well, eventually our teacher ended up burning the picture.
Finally, someone with common sense,
What was
bro.
up with that picture? I have no clue at all.
Jesus Christ, bro. Creepy. Creepy out here. I want
This
to
happened a
relax
week
with the
before my 19th
titles,
birthday.
bro.
I had invited 3 of my closest
I
friends
can't
over
read
to my
that
place
fast.
since my parents were out of town for a few days, and my sister had recently moved to the dorm. Well, anyway, 15 minutes later, my friends Keith, Jay, and Marcus showed up at my door with a handful of beer for the perfect boys' night. We watched movies,
Y'all already
chugged on
know,
some drinks,
man. Y'all
and
already
even had
know.
an epic pillow fight until 10:45 p.m. That's when Keith suggested that we play an extreme truth or dare game to make this night a blast.
Yo, Keith
The
sus
boys
for that.
mostly preferred truth, which was hilarious as they were compelled to answer embarrassing questions. But when it was my turn, I chose to do a dare.
You
They all
messed
discussed
up.
among themselves for a solid minute
You
until Jay
messed up
finally
for
dared
that,
me to
bro.
dress up as a girl and walk outside. At first, I hesitated, but accepted it regardless. I found a blonde wig in the storage box, which was from last year's Halloween.
How do you
and wore one of
find
my
that?
sister's fancy dresses that she saved for special occasions. Then we went outside looking for some fellows to prank.
Yeah.
And that's when the sight of a few guys
Yeah.
smoking on their motorbikes
Oh
caught
my
eye.
god. You're about to
They all
get
looked like they
jumped.
were around in their mid-20s.
Oh,
I walked
shoot,
past
man.
them while my friends hid behind the bushes, waiting for a reaction. Soon, I could tell that they were gazing at me. And when I glanced over to get a peek of them,
Yeah.
I realized that they were all coming towards me.
Oh shoot, bro.
As they moved closer,
Wow, for
one of
that.
them asked if I came here often and if he could get my phone number.
That boy trying to
Too
sauce.
bad, I'm a boy, loser. I started laughing frantically as I removed my wig. However, they didn't seem to like this,
Yeah.
and I figured that was a huge mistake I had made.
Oh shoot.
Suddenly, he pulled out a pocket knife and said that I was gonna pay for that awful prank. Panicked, I instinctively kicked his left leg, making a run for it, as I heard the others starting their bikes up to chase me. All of my friends who witnessed that moment immediately headed back to the house to call 911. Meanwhile, I was shaking with fear as I further advanced toward the main road. Unfortunately, those punks ganged up on me,
Oh
blocking my
man,
path.
they got dirt bikes, so you're
Thrown
not
to the
getting
rough
away,
surface
bro.
by a
Not even
strong push.
on grass.
The guy I had kicked in the leg earlier got off his bike and pulled out his knife once again, with the creepiest grin I've ever seen on his face. Do not ever prank on me, you bastard. When he was about to stab me while I was screaming, I noticed that he abruptly stopped midway. There was a
wrong
loud
with
police
dude?
siren near us. The volume of the sirens got louder, and finally, they ditched me and ran away. I was laying on the road in pure shock.
Hey, blame your friends for that.
Luckily,
They
I
told you
was
to dress
rescued
up
by
like a
my
girl.
friends who had informed the police right on time. We never encountered those guys anymore around our town, nor did we ever play that stupid game after that. I cannot imagine
It wasn't
what would have happened to
stupid.
me.
You
if the
just did it
cops
to
were
the
even
wrong
just
people,
a
bro.
minute later.
Wildin' for that, bro. Alright, y'all, we're gonna stop it right there. Thank you guys for tuning in so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for even clicking on the video. Again, I'm really sorry for my inconsistency. I know deep down I want to do better, and I really why is this a thumbnail, bro? Oh man, deep down I really want to do better, man, and I'm gonna do better for you guys. I promise you that. I will give you guys my all in every single video, man. But thank y'all for tuning in so much, man. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter too, man. Share this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's episode to see what tomorrow's video will be. Anyways, boys, thank you guys for tuning in so much, man. Appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and I'm out.
Panic. I'm thankful for my life and I can take this shit for granted. I'm from a different breed, like I'm from a different planet. They keep me where it hurt, but your boy's still standing. It's easier to fly, but the real skill landing. And if you ever cross me, I don't believe in second chances. I might just show some love, but I don't believe in no advances. I need it up front, cause you don't know my circumstances. I spend my life